Hey y'all, welcome back to Beautifully Broken Crafts, Hauls, and More. This is Crystal, and I have some crafts for you today. So DIY number one, we're using that round relax sign I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just using a Dollar Tree sponge, sand sponge, to sand all that glitter off into a bucket. Then I did take a piece of this faux shiplap peel and stick wallpaper I got from Dollar Tree, and I just traced that round on it so I could have the size I needed. I peel that off and I make sure it's straight and put it over that picture that was already there. I used a popsicle stick to smooth it out, and then poked a hole back through that hole that was originally there and replaced that jute cord to hang it with. Then I took this little wooden 3D pickup truck from the Dollar Tree as well, cut down four, I guess they're not the jumbo size, medium size popsicle sticks I had in my craft stash, just to glue them to the bottom of that truck because it's hollow on the bottom in case I wanted to fill it with any florals or anything. And then I proceed to paint the entire body and the inside and outside of the truck and tires black, as you can see here. For the fencing of the bed of the truck, I used my antique Waverly wax and a baby wipe just to faux stain that inside and out. Then I take my metallic paint markers and just start going around the truck to give it some definition. So I outlined the tire, well, just the middle of the tires, the fenders, the little, what do you call it, posts on the fence, not fence, the wooden things on the bed of the truck. And I used white metallic paint around the window. I then glued this truck to my round sign with a combination of super glue, gel, and hot glue. And there you see me measuring out how much space I have to go to my Cricut Maker and cut out the words, "Hey y'all." I didn't want this to be just fall specific, so I figured "Hey y'all" was pretty generic, and you could leave this up year round if you wanted to. And I just transferred that phrase onto there with my Arteza transfer tape. I took some 120 grit sandpaper I had from Dollar General, and I scuffed up the words to make it look a little more aged, along with roughed up the edges to clean up any wallpaper that was overhanging and to make it look rough around the edge. And then I'm just filling the truck with some lamb's ear from Walmart and a few flocking balls from Dollar Tree. And there you go, and you can change that out as often as you want for every season. On to DIY number two, I took this Dollar Tree slatted pumpkin. Some of the staples were coming out, so I just removed those ones that were loose and hot glued down that jute cord and cut off the tag. Sitting there waiting for the glue to dry. I don't know why I left this part in there, but I'm not going back to re-edit this again. Then I'm taking off that glitter word. It says warm hearts. So in total it says gather here with warm hearts. So I'm just using a little razor blade scraping tool I got from Home Depot. It was probably less than $5. You get that with a pack of razor blades as well. And then just to get the rest of that residue off, I sprayed a tiny bit of Windex on there and just slowly scraped my scraper along with the Windex to get the rest of that glue off. Wiped it away with some paper towel and it was gone. Cleaned up all the glitter off of that slatted pumpkin and laid out some fresh like newspaper flyers from junk mail. Then I take my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and I'm giving this one coat of gray. And I did this because I knew if I was just to go over it with white, it would take probably 3 or 4 coats of the white to cover that picture on those slats. I did not paint the metal piece because I wanted that to stay metal. Then I take my heat tool gun I have from Home Depot and dried that off so I didn't have to sit and wait. Now I take my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm going over that gray. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. I only did one coat of this. It is splotchy, but we're going to cover this with tissue paper and like a Mod Podge or decoupage thing. So here I'm just taking some of the wooden word cutouts from Dollar Tree, and I settled on the word the phrase "Hello Autumn" Got up to go get dinner out of the oven. Came back and colored that in with my copper metallic paint marker all the way around. And then it does look a little dull up against that silver by itself. So I did take my white paint marker, and I'm out of frame here, but I'll slowly get into frame, you'll see. And I just went around the edges of those words with that white just to make it pop out more. And see, now you can see what I'm doing. Just to give it some more definition. Now I'm going through my tissue paper, and I was debating between a polka dot or the plaid, and I ended up with doing the plaid. And I just cut this tissue paper into strips, wide enough to cover each slat and long enough. I don't even think I used a full half a sheet of one sheet of tissue paper for this project. So then we're just going to use Mod Podge to glue that onto there. So you're going to put some Mod Podge on each slat and use your paintbrush or Mod Podge brush, whatever you have, to thin that out, and then make sure you rub it smooth with your hands. And I also use the end of one of my paint markers to assist with getting the wrinkles out. Now, when I got to that slat, I did need to trim that excess off before continuing on. Once all that Mod Podge was dry, I was going to cut the excess off of the sides, and then I remembered work smarter, not harder. Took my sanding sponge and sanded in a downward motion on that tissue paper. If you go upwards, you're going to rip your paper right off of there. Then I did a thin layer of Mod Podge over the top of that tissue paper just to make sure it wasn't going to fall off. It wasn't necessary. It was on there pretty good, but I don't know. I think I get worried that it'll peel eventually. So then I took my Hello Autumn word and set it in the center of that metal piece, which it looked a little plain by itself. So I did take 2 of the clothespin leaves from Dollar Tree and just faux stain them with my antique wax and a baby wipe. And then I'm using the super glue gel again and a mixture of hot glue, simply because the hot glue gives you an instant hold, but hot glue and metal don't like each other, and the super glue gel worked to hold all that on there. So I got that done, and now I'm taking some twine. I don't know, I keep disappearing to go somewhere. I don't know where I'm going all these times. Anyways, I'm taking some twine, and I'm just going to wrap it around the stem of that pumpkin. And I did hot glue it here and there just to make sure it was tacked in place and wouldn't roll up or unravel. And then I cut it long enough to go all the way up it, down it, and back up again, which I liked because it just gave it some more texture and dimension. And that little spatula is from the makeup area of Dollar Tree. Don't burn your fingers with the hot glue, people. It happens to me all the time. Then I'm taking this berry garland also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap it around that stem a couple times, and then use my pen to make some little curly Q sprigs. And then I glued it in the back just to make sure it didn't come off. And it still looked kind of plain to me, so I went to my craft stash and grabbed out a cotton pod, straightened it out, and hot glued it to the center of that. And there you go. We have a cute little plaid pumpkin. And last but not least, DIY number 3, I decided to do one of the wood bead garlands. Just because I like to put those up when I'm staging things or decorating certain areas. So I chose those dark blue beads and orange beads are from a pack of wooden beads from Dollar Tree. And the big container of the different wood colored beads is from Walmart. I think I paid like $5 for that, so that wasn't a bad deal. So I just came up with a pattern and strung it on some twine, as you can see here. And those light colored wood beads that are mixed in with the colored beads are from Amazon. And now I'm taking a galvanized tag I got from Dollar Tree and tied it to one end of that. And now I'm taking some yarn I had from Walmart and making a tassel. I just wrapped it around my pack of index cards 40 times, used the other end of the twine of that beaded garland to tie the tassel onto there. and then used a piece of yarn to go around to make the little tassel ball thingamajigger, which was giving me a headache, so I had to cut it off and do it all over again. When I did it the second time, no, it looked better. See, I cut it off right there. Start over again. And that did the trick. Cut off the excess yarn there. I didn't need to trim this one because I had it pretty even. Then I just took some stickers I had gotten from Dollar Tree. That planner sticker book is from Dollar Tree. And so are those leopard print pumpkins. So I played around with the placement of everything until I got it the way I liked it. And then I did add a little extra sticker on that. It was just like a little sprig of berries or something. Then I took a stack of books I had from Dollar Tree. Oh, I did not realize this frame got flipped. That's alright. Anyways, and I took the dust covers off, and there it is. All done. That's it, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks.